Sometimes adding something new to a classic recipe can make it even better. Today I'm taking the classic Rice Krispie treat recipe and adding Oreos and other things. The ingredients you'll need for this are 5 cups of Rice Krispies, 1 10-ounce bag of mini marshmallows, 3 tablespoons of butter, 12 Oreos, 1 cup of white chocolate chips, which is optional, and 6 extra Oreos, which are also optional. In supplies, you'll need a baggie, that, I think it's foil, and then a pan. So the first step was gathering the ingredients, and the second is mixing them together. So you're gonna take the butter, put it there, and you're gonna turn the stove to light. And then you're just gonna melt the butter. So once the butter is melted, you're gonna add in the marshmallows, all of them. And then you're gonna mix them together, still with the stove on. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so once it looks like this, you're gonna turn off the stove. And then you're gonna take it over to the rest. So once you're back over here, you're gonna add in the Rice Krispies. And then you're just gonna mix all of this together. Once again, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So once you're done mixing, it should look like this. Just like how Rice Krispies normally look. So then, here's where it gets different. You're gonna add in the 12 Oreos, not the 6, just the 12. We'll do the other 6 over there later. And then you're gonna mix one more time. This is what it should look like when you're done mixing. I'm just gonna put this into your pan, and I'll show you the next step. So when it's transferred into here, it'll look like a mess. So that's when this comes in. I'm just gonna put this over the top and flatten it down with your hands. And you just put this so you're not touching it, and because other people are gonna eat it. Okay, so my pan was too big. I didn't want them to be really thin, so I just kind of pushed them over to that side so they wouldn't be super thin. But you could be done right after this, or you can add in the optional steps, which include the white chocolate chips and these 6 Oreos. So that was step 2, the preparation, and then step 3 is decoration, which is optional. So if you're doing the decoration part, you're gonna take your white chocolate chips and you're just gonna put them in the microwave and melt them so you can use them as kind of a frosting, but it's not going over the whole thing. Okay, my white chocolate chips are melted, and if it looks like they aren't melted, just mix them and then it should end up looking like this. But if it doesn't melt, then just put it in for the microwave longer. Okay, so next you're gonna put this in the baggie, and I'll show you the reason why once I get it in there. Okay, so the reason why you put it in the baggie is you can put it in here and then squeeze it out like a piping bag by cutting off a corner. That's what I did, but if you have a real piping bag, just use that. But I don't have a real piping bag, so I use this baggie. Okay, so I'm done, and I know it looks absolutely awful. That's because my little technique didn't work out very well. It worked out great right here. It just kind of fell apart. I used a fork and I made a huge mess. So I would recommend, if you're gonna make these, just don't do that. If you want to save yourself stress. But if you're talented enough, then do you, whatever. I would also recommend just not making these at all, because it's a lot of work. You can just make regular ones and it's a lot easier. And I kind of wish I'd done that instead. But we're not done yet. We still have to add these so I can cover up my masterpiece here with Oreos on the top. So when I'm done with this, I'll come back and you can see the finished product. Here's the finished product. It looks nothing like how my original recipe looked. Like the first time I did this, it actually looked decent, but not this time. Probably because I did it alone this time. First time I didn't. But anyways, the steps you needed to make this were, the first step was gathering your ingredients. The second step was preparation, and the third step was decoration, which is optional. In conclusion, when you make a recipe, you can leave it normal or add things to it if you think it will make it look better, which in this case, it tastes better, I think, but it's a lot of extra stress, and it's not really worth it because it's not that much better. It's just adds more flavor. So yeah, that is my recipe for Oreo Rice Krispie Treats, and do not make it unless you have a very patient personality or you're good at making things, which I'm not.